Okay, we're back. Mom. Mom.
Oh,
Oh, there you are.
Miracle Mom and Michael.
Whew. I was nervous. I don't know where you went.
I'm here.
You could drop dead any time.
Well, I've tried to, but it's not working.
Seems to be a recurring theme. Mom's not dead. She's been trying it, but everything's been thrown at her and it just doesn't work. I don't know if this death thing is actually going to pan out for you, Mom.
I hope not.
Right? Okay, good. You'll be one of those that doesn't fall asleep. That's another thing. But,
Right.
all right. So this is Mom reminiscing. We just left off the previous segment in this theme of Mom reminiscing. Mom was talking about that fateful moment when dear old Dad walked in the door with another woman. Why don't you pick it up from there?
Okay, well, as I mentioned in the previous segment, the night that happened, that was the beginning of what I identify as a night season in my life. And the night season lasted for 20 years after that. However, he went out the door with his newfound love, and they left, and I had no red flags, no clues, there was never any discussion, from him. I don't want to be married anymore. I don't like this responsibility.
And he
blah,
never
blah,
said
blah.
any of those things.
Never said any of those things. The only thing, I don't know if it was a red flag, but what my observation was, he became more and more somewhat isolated and withdrawn, and was smoking his pot like he did, and drinking wine, and just, more closed off. And I guess that was a red flag, right?
Right. If you had been paying attention, it's flying right in your face, right? I didn't see any red
Yeah, right.
flags. I didn't see any red flags because my eyes were closed.
Well, I was consumed with being the breadwinner
Oh
and
yeah,
having
yeah, yeah.
two little kids, and that's where all my energy was going.
Yep.
But anyway, to get back to it, when they went out the door like that, he had in the kitchen of that duplex, there was like a pantry, and I had just made a curtain out of, cloth to hang over that. So, that was what closed it off. But in that pantry were all these shelves. And your dad, being a mechanic and a carpenter and, skilled that way, I had saved all the glass baby food jars for him when they were empty. I'd wash them out, and he would use them to put nails and screws
Right.
bolts and whatever he needed to collect in those little jars. And there were probably 24 of them. Well, they went out the door, and I was so beside myself and angry and upset and confused. I went to that pantry, and I took every one of those glass baby jars and threw them out into the street and smashed them all to smithereens. That was how I reacted.
Is this while he was there or after he left?
No, they had already gone.
Oh. So there's probably about 100 flat tires that can be attributed to you in your fit of rage.
Well, then I had to spend the next hour cleaning up the street, which I did do. And nobody came out and, wondered what I was doing. I don't know. Maybe this is what happened in that neighborhood every other day. I don't know. So, and I don't think Sandy and Johnny weren't even home, or they would have been out there. But I went out and I cleaned up that mess, and after that, I was just an emotional wreck. I just recall, beginning to put one foot in front of the other and doing what I had to do, and thanking God I had daycare, thanking God I had a full-time job.
Oh, right. You had a job and a place to put your kids. Oh, that's good.
I did. So Providence was at work all along the way.
Oh, gosh.
Well, time passed. I had no idea where he was. I had no idea who this woman was. And eventually, I don't know whether we talked on the phone or he actually came by. You know, I want to say he came by to see you and Michelle for sure. And then, you know, conversation opened up. Oh, well, you know, he had found a new love. So he was just going to move on. That's the way it was going to be. Well, then it boiled down to, I let him know I'd had enough time to settle down emotionally somewhat. But I let him know, you know, there will be a divorce. That's just the way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a divorce. You will pay for the divorce. And as a condition of the divorce, you will buy us a house for me and your children. That's what you will do. Otherwise, I'm signing no papers. He wanted the divorce, obviously.
Got it.
So I think we did go to a lawyer, and I spelled it out. These are my terms. And as it turned out, you know, I don't know if your dad actually paid for the divorce or your grandpa did.
Oh, I'm sure my dad didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain of that also. So that's what happened. We got the divorce, and we went house hunting. And we found that house on Cherryland Road. Very nice house, a little Spanish style to it. Very pleasant house.
Mm-hmm. I remember that house.
And the way I understood it, I think your dad had some kind of stocks and bonds that your grandpa had helped him get or something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the way I understood it was those bonds and stocks were cashed in to pay for the house.
Right.
So I did get the house.
I never knew that you owned that house. I always thought, oh, she must have rented it out or whatever.
No, it was paid for.
That was a cute little house.
It was a cute little house, and the mortgage wasn't completely paid off, but enough of it was paid off. I remember the mortgage payment being like $150 a month at that time.
Right. Gosh.
So I wish I would have remembered, the original value, but I don't.
Wow. I tried finding that, several years ago. I was in Phoenix, and we found the East McKinley place, but I was trying to find the specific house, because East McKinley, it was like toward the corner of the street, right?
Yeah.
But the Cherryland Road house was in the middle of the street somewhere, right?
Yeah, it was off Thomas Road.
Well, we found the road it was on, but I couldn't figure out which house it was, because there's a couple of houses that look similar to what I remember, and over time the landscape and everything had changed. Yeah. So I couldn't quite find that specific house, but at least I was on that street in the last 10 years. Yeah,
it was a nice residential neighborhood at that time.
Well,
it was a step up from East McKinley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was nice having your own place and having a yard and all that to yourself. That's always a step up. I'm going to cut this one short. In fact, I want to end this call for the day. But thank you, Mom. I have a lot of work to do. I have several segments here I got to chop up and post. But I'm happy with how this thing is happening. Thank you
me too.
Thank you for picking up the phone when I call.
Sure. Of course.
That's the difficult part, right? That's your challenge, right? Pick up the phone.
Right.
I love you.
Well, I love you too.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
All right, I have to go grocery shopping.
Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, love you.
Love you
That's
too.
On the recording,
Bye-bye.
by the way. Haha. You can hang up now.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.